If you want to get better at FC24, come join the Neil Guides FC School Patreon series. If you don't get better after 1 month, we'll refund your money. That's the Neil Guides guarantee. Link is down below in the description. Check it out. What's going on, guys? Neil Guides here. Welcome back to another video. I wanted to go over this series where we go over every single tactic in FC24 and I show the different variations. I wanted to start off, of course, with one formation that we've really just forgotten, really. It's the 4-4-2 second variation. Very, very similar to the 4-4-2 flat. The only difference here is really that you have more of a defensive-minded setup with two CDMs. So that means when you are out of possession, these CDMs sit a bit deeper. It's perfect if you like to play the 4-4-2, but you find yourself not available to play the 4-4-2 or not capable of playing it at a high level because you lack that defensive ability. This is why a lot of the top tier pro players like to use this formation. It's very, very good, but it's also very difficult to play, especially for those that are entering into the elite level. It's fine if you're up against someone who's weaker than you, but when you're on someone that's the same level as you or someone that's better than you, it's a very tough formation to use. The 4-4-2 second variation, 4-4-2 should I say, is very, very similar to the 4-4-2 second variation. The only difference is that you have these cams or wide cams as opposed to in the 4-4-2 second variation, you have the left mids and right mids. Technically, it's the same thing, except for these wide cams are actually wide wingers. Think of it that way. Don't think of them like central cams. They're just wingers. And to be honest, they're a bit more attacking than the 4-4-2 second variation. So sometimes you can argue, although this formation is more defensive, I would say this is like an in-between between the 4-4-2 and 4-4-2 second variation. This is the formation I would use. But you have the defensive stability, but you still have that attacking threat. Now let's go over to the instructor. The defensive style, we start off with balanced. Pretty much the way to go with now in FC24. If you ever want to apply pressure, you can always just increase the depth yourself. For the width, we've gone with 40, especially when you edge towards the team of the season time. I said you just want to be a bit more narrow and a bit more compact when you're defending. And that's the reason why I really go with 40. Now depth, I really haven't gone too much. You could actually have a bit more of a license to increase your depth here. Maybe even go towards 65, I would say. 71 is where you're really entering the pressing territory. But let's say if you're playing this formation to start the game with to be somewhat attacking, I think it's a good conservative amount. The reason why I say you can push up is because you do have those CDMs for stability. But it'll depend on your level. You could adjust it. But I think 55 is a good range for anyone who just wants to copy these tactics and use them. Build up play balanced. And everyone does like to use direct passing, so I want to put that there. But personally, me speaking, I prefer forward runs. I think more and more people now are just using forward runs. I think people literally just use direct passing because everyone else does it, and because the pros do it, and that's the reason why they use it. Well, most people don't even know what direct passing does, and I just think forward runs is more attacking, so I like forward runs. But be my guest if you really want to use direct passing. I know most 4-4-2s are on it. But as I've always mentioned, you both old gen and before I used to be primarily forward runs on old gen, but now for both old gen and new gen, I'm pretty much going with forward runs. The width, 60. There's a couple of reasons for this. Don't forget, these are actually wide cams. Think of them like left wings and right wings. Just forget the fact they are cams. That's how they play in this formation. They're not centralized. They're wide. So the wider width just helps supplement them to make them a bit wider inside the game. Just create some space in between your team, and that is pretty much it. The players in the box, you can do whatever you want, really. It depends on how you want to play this. It depends on how you cross. This is something that people always seem to miss with players in the box. There isn't no lucky number that you can just choose. It really just depends. You should always try to change it up. You know, technically speaking, I would use 1 if I was to play, because I like to go down to the wing and then create a chance by bringing the ball back and recycling in. Is that the most effective way of playing? No, but that's the way that I enjoy playing. But for most people, 6 or 7 is really the way to go. But I don't cross the ball. Remember that. It's just not my play style. I don't care. If I want to score a goal, I'd rather score a goal that I like rather than the ball being crossed in. Even if it's meta or not, I'm not going to play that way no matter what. It's just part of my style. Corners and free kicks, again, it's up to you, really. But if you're not sure what players in the box, always put 5, and you can always adjust it by 1 or 2 as the game goes in. But corners and free kicks, however you want to, it's not the issue. Then we're going to move over to instructions. So I got stay central, stay forward for both the strikers. One of them's on get it behind. You can use either the most clunkiest player. I'd rather play on balance. That's the one the ball comes to the feet. I have Correa here. Fantastic card, honestly. With his finisher play style, 99 shooting, unbelievable. I like the ball coming to his feet, so he can do a finesse shot, turn it either foot, or elastic dribble. The Lamina around both on comeback and defense, get into the box for a cross. Now, drift wide just makes them play ultra wide, almost like the 4-4-2 would hug the sidelines. That's the way you got to look at it. I wouldn't use this, personally speaking. You just use the 4-4-2 second variation, I think, at that point, because that way you can at least get in behind with the left mid and right mid. You can't do that with a 4-2-2. A free roam is just a bit of a weird one where it doesn't really help. I mean, if you can sometimes bring a fullback going forward, sometimes they can occupy a random position, but they don't really occupy that well. You know, when people see through them, they think, oh, these players are going to roam around everywhere, but they kind of don't. Sometimes you might even see these two players. If you're like a 4-2-3-1, you could even have all these three players interchanging. Good for being unpredictable, but if you want Sassinha to always be there and you know he's right-footed or left-footed, or I know he's 5-star away, but let's say he was right-footed, that could be a cause of a loss by moving him on free roam. So I would like to put them where they are. They're still going to, of course, make runs and everything. But, of course, this means that they won't really leave that right. They'll occupy this rough position. They're not going to end up going to left striker or something like that. Now, both CDMs, cut passing lanes, cover centre. The one that's the most defensive on stay back while attacking. And then the one that's more attacking on balance and deep line playmaker. The thing is with this formation is you lack that cam. This is the biggest weakness. A lot of players that are new to FC24, and I would say players that have played the game for a very long time, the biggest issue when they use the 4-2-2 is they miss that cam. They miss that cam that was there in a 4-2-3-1. You miss that cam that's there in like a 3-5-2. But now more and more people are using the 4-3-2-1 with the three strikers up front. They're getting used to having a lack of that cam and waiting for a centre mid to join the attack. We're trying to emulate the same thing here. So we have like a centre mid join the attack when you are going forward, and they're pretty much fine, good to go. Goalkeepers on balance, and so are the players. Now, the left back, right back, got them on stay back over. Now, this is very important. If you want, you can put these players on balanced. Me personally, and maybe I should have reiterated this for many years because I didn't think of the importance. Well, I sometimes used to mention it, but I never used to reiterate it every single time, is I literally use L1 triggers to push my players going forward. Why do I want AI to do it? If I put it on join the attack, they're always going to join the attack. I don't want them to join the attack. I'd rather use a D-pad tactics, attacking fullbacks, and turn it on whenever I want them to go forward. That's the way that I do it. Balanced kind of adheres to the player's work rates. If someone's high, they're going to go up and down equally as well. So that's something just to bear in mind. So I personally like to put them on stay back because I can control them manually. It's like being in a manual car. I want to control what gear I am. If I want to downshift so I get better acceleration, I can do that. In an automatic car, you're pretty much stuck. Well, maybe nowadays with technology, DSG and everything is a bit different. But the point I'm trying to say is you can't control these yourself when it's on balanced or get forward. So join attack. But when they're on stay back, if you want to trigger them, so we'll press the L1 trigger, they'll make that run forward until they go offside and they'll come back to defense again. They'll do their job, come forward, help you on the attack, and then they go back as soon as they're done. And that's what I prefer like that. And it's 4-2-2 tactics, a bit more of an attacking setup, I would say, here with a center mid join attack. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get better FC24. You can join my Patreon, so it's patreon.com/NoGuys, link down in the description. If you don't get back to 1 month, we'll refund your money, so no guys guarantee. Thanks for watching. Take it easy and catch you next time. Peace out.